Hi everyone, this is Ramin Fatima. I am joining you all from Karachi, Pakistan, and here I have Dr. Alka Kalra. Nice to meet you, Dr. Alka. Um,
Hi, how are you, Ramin?
I'm good. It's great to finally speak to you. Um, so a little bit of introduction, Miss Alka. I would like our listeners to know more about you.
All right, I'm a licensed psychologist in Dubai. I'm here for past 27 years. I'm licensed by the Community Development Authority of UAE, and I'm the founder director for an institution called EduScan, and it is for the children who are differently able. So my whole life, my passion is to turn the failures of regular schools into successes for lifetime. And I work for the children with any kind of challenges. It could be dyslexia, dyspraxia, dyscalculia, autism spectrum, it could be CP, it can be any challenge. And I believe that leaders are not born but made. And that is what drives my whole journey of life, to make sure that every single person who's born enjoys life to the optimum and live happy.
That's a very impressive goal, Dr. Alka. That's a very impressive goal. I'm very keen to and looking forward to our discussion today. So for our listeners, the topic that we are going to be speaking about is depression, from depression to hope, what it is, and then how actually is the journey towards hope. Um, so, Dr. Alka, my first question towards you would be, I mean, what is depression? I mean, and there's just the general sense. How, as a medical professional, as a psychological professional, how do you define depression?
Thank you very much, Ramin, for your question. Before I even start, I would like to congratulate the total team of Menathon who have put in all these lovely efforts to make this a beautiful experience for everyone. It's a brilliant, brilliant thought, and congratulations to everyone who's been working tirelessly behind the scene to make sure that it is a success. Coming to the topic of today, from depression to hope. And Ramin, my young psychologists, want to know that how do we define depression? For me, depression is just a mental state where the person is little lonely and does not enjoy things to the way they want to. So basically, this is a state in which the feeling, the thought processes all get jeopardized, in the sense that the behavior is different. So I always believe that there are three components of behavior. Behavior is not something what we see, underlying layer is thinking and feeling. We must understand the thinking and feeling. And depressive patients or depressive human beings are the ones who are neither able to think right or feel right. So if we want to work on someone, so or normally often seen in our country that if somebody says I am depressed, oh, what's there to depress? Come on, pull up your socks. Come on, be happy. If it was that simple, then things would have been different. It is like you're telling a person who has a broken leg, what's there? Come on, stand up and run. What's there? So one need to understand that the person is not in the position to help himself. And that is why persons seek assistance of professionals. So I have often seen the families denying to accept that depression exists. And normally people find depression to be external in the world. So what do they say? or you have the best of the car and you have the best of the house, or you have best of the facilities. Depression and money, no researchers show they go hand in hand. Like if you have high money, you will have low depression. Nothing of the sort. So there is a big mistake that if you have the best of the mobile or best of the car or best of the house, that means you shouldn't be depressed. It is purely an internal condition, and this depends on the person's resilience. So resilience is a very important word here, Ramin. Thank you very much for your question.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Alka. That was a great explanation. I think as a psychology student, that's how we understand depression. And this is the kind of question we all often encounter because people fail to understand that it's not just a state, a sad state. It's much more than that. It's a mental state, and it's just as much as an illness as anything else. I think furthermore, I would like to understand if as a person I am suddenly going through depression, how do I basically first identify that something is up with me? And then furthermore, how do I actually, what are the first steps that as a depressed person I can take?
Thank you very much, Ramin, for your question. The first step is muddle thinking. You start feeling that you're thinking differently. You're not thinking the way you used to think earlier. And this is a very important symptom. And often your thought processes are negative. You start losing hope in life in general. Often this connects to insomnia. That means sleepless nights. Or you suddenly get up within an hour of your sleep and then you have continuous negative thoughts haunting your mind. Mood swing is something which is very commonly seen in the patients of depression because suddenly they start to behave differently. Often it is noticed that they want to avoid people. They don't want to be in the company of people. They like to be by themselves. They will lock up themselves. They are studying, they pretend to study or work or do something on their computer, but they don't like human interaction. There's someone who really have very little joy in life and not taking care of themselves. They normally wouldn't like to groom up or get ready or get dressed. You wouldn't see them. See, depression is a word which is attached with a lot of shame and stigma. So it is very difficult for people to accept that I'm into a stage of depression. And that is why they try to avoid sharing it with anybody, whatever signs or symptoms are there. Loneliness is something which starts killing them. But they themselves try to stay away from people. Strange thoughts start coming to their mind and they ignore it. The saddest part of the story is that in our country, depression is taken as a stigma. So people who are feeling depressed, they don't want to talk to anybody, they don't want to share with anyone. And that is the biggest problem. So these are some of the symptoms which if you are experiencing, then you must share with someone. Or if your loved ones in your psychosocial ambience, there's somebody who you think is going through mood swings and loneliness and locking themselves and avoiding human interactions, I think it is alarming and we must take care of this.
Yes, totally agree with all the things that you have mentioned. I myself have I had experiences with my very close friends going through something like this, and at first it's hard to understand what's going on with them, why they're suddenly behaving differently, why they don't want to interact with you the way they used to. Um, and as a friend, you might think that you might take the blame, thinking that maybe they just don't want to speak to you, but it's actually much more deeper than that. So totally agree with everything that you have mentioned, especially looking at all the experiences I've had with people who have gone through depression. I think one of the things that makes me very curious is because a lot of the times when they're going through something like this, they're very scared of what people are going to say. Because, there's as you mentioned very rightfully, that, in our countries, there's a huge stigma around it, that people say, okay, you're depressed, so are you, or you're just sad, something happened, or you're being lazy if you're not getting out of your home, or you're not talking to people. So
Right.
how,
Ramin, I would,
yeah,
before you go on to your question, I would
yes,
just like to interject here. This is something very, very important. That when you're going through this process, when you're going into, let's try understanding three words. These three words are basically about stress, anxiety, and depression. And I would like to explain it into a very layman's language. So, say you're on the top of a mountain and it's a very, very windy day. It is, very strong winds, and with the winds, you're waving left, right, and center. But if you avoid that for a very long time, maybe with one strong wind, you're trying to withstand every wind. But after a while, your body capacity has certain limitation. And with one wind blow, you go up and you're hanging onto a cliff now. Down is the valley. And now with your holding on, you don't want to fall down. You understand that it is dangerous. But then you're clinging on, and you need to seek help. Somebody can put the hand up and pull you up, but you need to voice out. And the hanging stage is a stage two, and stage two is anxiety. So now you are going through anxiety, but you avoid it and you keep hanging for unlimited time beyond your capacity. Eventually, your hands will start, grip will start loosening up, and then you go down deep into the valley of clinical depression. So, depression doesn't happen like this at the first go, it is a process. Stress avoided for a very long time. So we are talking about that you've been into a state of mental stress for a very long time and you didn't do anything about it. There are 100 ways you can help yourself, but you ignored. And then comes the step two, and that is anxiety. Now you know that you're anxious, you know that you have loneliness, you understand that you have sleepless nights, but you don't share with anyone because of the social stigma. How to share, how to tell someone. And if somebody gets to know that, that means there's something seriously wrong with me. And then eventually you lose the grip and you fall into depression. And then you start with your psychotic symptoms of hallucinations and delusions till people start noticing that there's something wrong with you. So eventually people will get to know. So better late than never. It is indeed your choice to you share and you seek assistance at the earliest. Instead of stress leads to anxiety, anxiety leads to depression, and then depression leads to psychosis. Or so it is your choice. So any one of the listeners who are into any of these things, where you feel these symptoms which me and Ramin were just discussing, check and seek help, because there's solution possible. It's not that there's no solution. There are a lot of things which are possible. Sorry for interjecting, Ramin. Carry on with your thought.
oh, yeah, actually, you're pretty much on how my thought process was going as well, because I think that's how a person going through depression goes. That first you are, as you mentioned, the first step is the feeling of the mental state, and then the second step is the feeling overwhelming anxiety about how everything is going. So I think I would like our listeners to know, because of course, as you explained, there's a stigma, and you should seek help, because eventually, even if you avoid it, people are going to know. So if someone is at that stage where they know something is up and they want to seek help, how do they overcome that feeling of having a stigma, and what are some of the tips that they can follow?
Thank you very much, Ramin, for your question. And I would say that whichever age or stage you are in, whether you are a teenager, or whether you are a young adult, or whether you are an adult, or whether you're even going to be touching an old age, always remember triggers are plenty of triggers which can take you to depressive state of mind. Certainly two aspects of it. Again, first is resilience. What is your coping strategy? What is your coping pattern? What is your coping power? How strong are you internally? So I will very strongly suggest three concepts to develop intrinsic resilience as young adults, because our listeners can be of any age and stage. So I would say, even if you're not doing it, start doing it today, because now this is the era of pandemic. COVID-19 everywhere. This is a very unprecedented time. And in this time, the mental health problems have gone much higher than all the ages of yesteryears. So this topic becomes very relevant for all of us. So what should we do? So prevention is better than cure. So let's think about that we prevent before it even happens to us. And what do we do about it? So first and foremost, I would say love. Now, what is love? Love is a word which is misunderstood very often because of its usage being extensively there. And I will take you, this is not only that romantic love which teenagers or young adults talk about. For me, love is loving your family, loving your friends, loving your mission, loving your passion, loving yourself above all. How much do you love yourself? And this love has to be in abundance. In abundance means as much as possible. And this is very easy to do. Believe it, it is just a click of a finger. But sometimes we are overcritical. If I don't look as beautiful as Aishwarya Rai, I have a complex. Because I put the global yardsticks in mind. If my voice is not as sweet as Lata Mangeshkar, I cannot talk. Why do we set such high targets for ourselves and then we push ourselves into a state of negativity? Come on, be kind to yourself. Whoever you are amazing in your own ways. Love yourself. Love others, love your family, love your friends, love your mission, have some mission in life, love your passion, live for a passion in your life. When your mind is occupied, then there is no space for negative thoughts. So you need to bring love in abundance into your life. Point number 2, very often we are focused on half empty, then half full glass. What is half empty? That we talk about what is not there than talking about what's there. So let's be more focused about what is there. So have an attitude of gratitude. And let us see that we remain thankful to whatever we have, even a small little thing. Even that me and Ramin, we both are breathing today. Let's be thankful to the good Lord about that. Because if we would not be breathing, we wouldn't be a part of this beautiful venture. A thankfulness for everything. See, all of us have good moments in our life. Nobody can say that I have no good event in my life. It is, you need a view to look at all the goodness in your life. So be positive and look for good things in your life and be grateful for that. Maintain a journal, maintain a book, start writing good things. Whenever the negativity attacks you, go back to your book and read those good moments of your life. Small things, the time you spent with your family, the time you spent with your friends, something great you read, something good you see. To be grateful, to see the trees, waving left, right, and center. That itself is a great moment. For great moment has no definition. It is your definition. It is your gratitude. So I think we all should have gratitude. And the third point, which I think is very significant, is to give something to others, anything, whatever you know. If Ramin is a young psychology student, maybe she can teach some young kids about something. Or she's good at art, she can do art. Give people without expectations. And then you get blessings in turn, and that changes your life. Be kind, be compassionate. What can you give to others? Just being kind to someone is giving as well. Arguing, fighting, being negative, criticizing, come out of these negative emotions, look at life more positively, enjoy life. Because believe it, the three steps which we talk about, your behavior is driven by your thinking, and your thinking is driven by your feeling. That is what makes your behavior. So come on, friends, if we have these virtues within, because your virtues determine your decision making, and your decision making leads to your life. So if you want happy, healthy life, use these 3 points and see the difference. Love your life. Thank you so much, Ramin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Alka. Those are some of the really, really good points that you mentioned, especially about love and friendship and how to find positivity and gratitude in one's life. Okay, I think I would like to go on more specific to our topic. I would like to know, how do you categorize the journey from depression to hope, and an ending message for our viewers as well?
Very, very good. Thank you so much, Ramin. Over here, I will bring in a concept of ABC and AUC. ABC stands for all beyond control. AUC stands for all under control. Now, when we talk about depression, let me tell you, if you are venturing into the circle of no influence, ABCs are something which are beyond your control. And if you venture into that circle, what you will get is only depression and nothing else. If you just need to shift from that circle to the circle of influence, and circle of influence is all under control. Under control is the things where you can make a difference, and that is what is AUC. So please keep your focus on things where you can make a difference. Enjoy life. You remain in the circle of ABC, you will get only depression and nothing else. Say, for example, if we talk about COVID-19 now, can you change COVID-19? Can you stop it? You cannot. It's beyond your control. So why do we talk about it? And how do we say, oh, nothing can happen, this is not happening, people are not going to colleges and schools and everything is shut down? That's wasting your time and feeling negative, isn't it? So I very strongly suggest always venture into the cycle of influence, that is AUC, and enjoy life in turn.
Okay. Very nice, Nundu. I think those are some great tools to find hope, and some great practices as well. So I think my next, let's just talk a little bit to our viewers about, what is the message that you would like to leave them with, especially those who are struggling at the moment with depression, and are searching for, they're clawing their way towards finding hope.
See, let me tell you, it's very, very important to be hope in life. The minute you become hopeless, you really become hopeless. If you don't have any hope in your life, you are hopeless then. So please keep your hope intact. And depression is not something which will stick on to you for your lifetime. If you deal with it right time, right way, under professional guidance, life is going to be amazing. I've seen people, and okay, Thank God, Ramin. I was forgetting a very important point. Depression leads to suicide, and we have heard about so many suicides, especially in this era of COVID-19. Every other day, when your resilience go low and negativity strikes your head so much, then you think. So, if you are having any suicidal thoughts, please make sure that you talk to someone. That's very indicative of that you are into a state of depression. If you are getting the thoughts regarding your death, and I have interviewed and met people who have committed suicide, tried to commit suicide, and they've been saved from that state, and they've come back and they have worked on themselves and changed their life forever. So come on, my dear friends, whoever is into a state of depression, don't be pulled by this stigma or shame. There is nothing to feel shame about. You deserve to take professional help. There are people, of course, medication is must. That means that there is certain salts in the brain are less which need to be taken care of. Medication and social therapy. Very, very important. Therapy does help. So do get into therapy, talk it out, walk it out, work it out. Whatever way you want to seek help, seek it. Don't hide it. The more you hide it, the bigger it grows and more unmanageable it becomes for you. You and you alone cannot handle it. When you share, you realize there's so many people who have gone through these kind of negative thoughts. And you know what you do on the Facebook, you only see the good side of the people. Nobody writes about their depression and their down moments. And actually, when you start talking to people, you realize there's so many of them who are suffering. Actually, depression is one of the major causes of suicides, and suicides are one of the major causes of death of the youngsters. So come on, friends, catch up, have that guts, forget about this shame and stigma. This is all our perception. Seek help, get into therapy, get the medication, help yourself. There's nothing, it's just a temporary phase. You can pass by it if you go through the right professional help. Thank you very much, Ramin. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Dr. Alka. Thank you so much. I think that was really, really wonderful. I would also like our listeners, our friends to know that rightfully, as Dr. Alka mentioned, that I think a person in depression often starts thinking that this is something that will go on for a very long time or for the rest of their life. But please do remember, everyone has the opportunity to get out of it. You might think that circumstances are very bad right now, that things are not going to get better, but for sure things are going to get better. The first step is just understanding the problem and seeking help.
Yes, and I would like to end up with a statement, this couplet, which is my favorite couplet, and I say, ख्वाहिशों से नहीं गिरते फूल झोली में, ख्वाहिशों से नहीं गिरते फूल झोली में, वक्त की शाख को हिलाना होगा, अंधेरों को बुरा कहने से कुछ नहीं होगा दोस्तों, अपने हिस्से का दिया तुम्हें खुद ही जलाना होगा. So if you're suffering, voice out. Take an action. Sitting and cribbing and crying about the situation is not going to help you. Stand up, take an action, and get the best, because you deserve the best.
Wow, it was really amazing. Thank you, Dr. Alka, especially the saying. It was a very special saying. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
So thank you to our listeners. For anyone who is listening, please do drop down any comments or anything that you have. Next, I would like to introduce our next speaker and interviewer. We will have our interviewer, Ayushi, and also Dr. Kuldeep. And once again, thank you so much, Dr. Alka, for joining today. It was lovely listening to your talk, and I'm sure you have helped out a lot of people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Ramin. Wish you all a great luck and a fantastic event. It is a lovely way to celebrate the World Mental Health. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, and thank you to the team of Manathan. I will pass to my fellow interviewer, Ayushi, now. Thank you.